the path is really no type of soil to be. You don't want to be the path. The second illustration that Jesus gives in this parable is the illustration of the rocky soil. Some people are like the ground that is rocky. They receive the word of God, and with a flash of enthusiasm, that quickly burns out. Have you ever noticed that? Some people come to Jesus Christ and boy, they are just there. They're on fire. And then all of a sudden, it seems like that fire is extinguished. They're ready. But then all of a sudden, what happens is their enthusiasm just wears out. That occurs when the Word of God goes into the rocky soil. You see, in Palestine, what would happen is that if there was too many rocks in the soil, there wouldn't be enough moisture in the soil. Around here, I assume it would be the same thing, although we use those big crop circle irrigators. But in Palestine, if there are too many rocks, that soil could not hold moisture and therefore could not grow. What this is really illustrating, I think, is the people who come to Jesus Christ, and they don't just come to him, but they receive the word at first, but they don't do the necessary work of clearing the field. They don't do the necessary work of making sure that the rocks are all put into a pile somewhere else. I'm from Ohio, and I think it's kind of interesting. You'll still see in fields in Ohio, farmers' fields in Ohio, piles of rocks. And over the years, farmers will come and they'll take the rocks and just put them into a pile. And it's something that happens gradually. But you'll see these piles of rocks just huge. And every year after they plow, then usually it's the kids' jobs. They go through the fields and they look for arrowheads, but then they pile up the rocks. This is really talking about the heart of a person who has not taken the time to maintenance his own heart. You can hear the word of God, but if you don't maintenance your heart and continually look at it, make sure that you're listening and make sure that you're in a place that is movable, then what good is it? The word of God will grow, but then it will die. Do you have rocks in your heart today? Rocky soil seems like it might be better than the path, but in the end it's the same. Then Jesus talks about the thorns. The thorns represent another group of people. Some people are like the seed that fell among the thorns. They receive the word, but allow the interests and cares of the world to choke it out. And you see this over and over again, don't you? Where you see the word of God is given to people, and because of so many things, they can't give up in their own life, or they won't give up in their own life. It's choked out. The cares of the world, the pursuit of riches in the world, the pursuit of anything really in the world, apart from God and his plan for you. You see this in another encounter that Jesus had. If you remember, a rich young ruler came to Jesus one day, and what did this rich young ruler do? He said, "What should I do, Master, to go to heaven?" And then Jesus said, "Well, you should obey the Ten Commandments." The rich young ruler said, "Well, I've kept all those." And then Jesus says, "Well, you've done good then. But here's what you lack. Go and sell everything you have and give it to the poor, and then follow me." Well, the rich young ruler left sad. Why? Because he let the thorns of this life choke out the word of God. He was rich. He had much to give up. And so he didn't want to give it all up. I find that's very interesting. I do some work in South America. I find it very interesting that some of the people we work with in our society, they would not make it. I mean, they're just too poor. And yet, their spirituality is so rich because they don't have things choking their hearts. competing affections for God's word. May I encourage you that if you have something that's competing for God's affection in your heart, now is the time to get rid of it. And at the altar, after the service, would be a good place to start. Come now. We'll pray about this. We'll lay it on the altar, and God will work in your life. And we'll be able to change that soil that's choked out by weeds to make it good soil.